All right, you guys, good evening. I am super excited. This has actually been a long time in the coming because you see this wonderful looking woman here beside me. Hi, Adrienne.
Hi, Danielle. How are you? Hi, stylist
Oh,
and
are we
stylist
frozen?
to be.
There. I'm so glad to. I'm so glad to finally get this to work because we tried this in April. We had
We did.
technical issues and it was kind of heartbreaking
It
because
was. And I
it was
tried to
heartbreaking.
make up for it by typing into the thread and communicating with those that joined the call via typing. And that didn't work.
And you know what? You did as good a job as anyone could have done, being relegated to only typing. But we're excited to have you back today so we can actually see and hear you. And you will notice if you are someone who watches our Meet Stella Dots here, that they happen here, by the way, every Wednesday night, that usually we are doing Facebook Live. Tonight, we are recording this in a webcast so that we can post it. So we're kind of live, but this is actually pre-recorded because we wanted to make sure it worked with this.
Yay.
You've got to get to hear from her. She's awesome. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the incredible Adrienne Keebler. And let me, by the way, just remind you that as you are watching this, please tag two friends below and hashtag DJoy because we like to give away a $250 shopping spree every Wednesday night. So
Oh
we
my
will do a drawing
goodness.
later on this evening. I know.
I hope I'm
From
a good luck charm to someone.
you are, of course you are, who has tagged two friends and hashtag SDJoy. Do it below. We'll give it away. And again, we do this every Wednesday night. So my name is Danielle Redner. I am the CIO at Stella Dot, which in some worlds would stand for information. Thank goodness here it stands for inspiration because
Inspiration.
I'm not really an information kind of girl. I'm more about the inspiration kind of girl. So, and I'll introduce you to someone who's incredibly inspiring. And that is this awesome star, Adrienne Keebler, who has been with us how many years, Adrienne?
Oh, 8 years. 8 years this September.
I mean, that flew by.
It did. It really has.
And so a lot has changed in your life over 8 years. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Tell us just a little bit. Let's just kick it off with a little bit about you, where you live, what you do, what are you passionate about? Just introduce us to you.
Okay, great. I live in Baltimore, Maryland with my husband. We have a daughter who's in college right now. She's actually about to head out and go hang by someone's pool in a few
Of course.
moments. She's home for the summer. I'm from South Carolina originally and went to college in Atlanta. But I was talking with some friends recently and they asked me to describe myself. And although I live in Baltimore and I'm a wife and I have a 9 to 5 as a client executive with a consulting firm, I describe myself as a connector. And I'm just a people person. I really am. I love to connect people together. I'm always thinking of how can I get person A to meet person B? And that's what I enjoy most too about being a stylist. And yeah, I'm a connector and I'm all about women's advocacy. So that's also my connection to Stella and Dot. Anything that is all about empowering women and the uplift of women. I attended an all women's college in Atlanta. So it's a nice marriage for me.
In the short time I've known you for about 7 years, but in the bits and pieces of time I've gotten to spend with you, I know that to be true about you. I know that you are definitely a connector because that's the perfect. I'm glad you're self-aware enough to know that because that is 1000% who you are. And I do know that you are a big advocate for social change and women's causes, and I love that too. So your daughter's in college. What did she study?
She is at Howard University in Washington, D.C. She just rushed sorority, and she is a double major, actually, political science and Spanish. And
Are
she
you
will
so
be
proud?
interning this summer with Planned Parenthood. So I've kind of passed that. She'll be in New York this summer interning.
So
So
you're proud. You are a proud mom.
I'm a really proud mom. Really proud
That's
mom.
so great. All right. Well, in addition to being a proud mom, a wife, an advocate, a reformer, all these things that you're also a Stella and Dot stylist. So
Yes.
I want to know a little bit about 7 years ago or 8 years ago when you decided to join Stella Dot. Why? Because obviously you're a very busy woman who has a full-time job and then all of these other causes that you really represent, as well as you know, a daughter, a busy social life. What made you decide to become a Stella Dot stylist?
Well, to be very honest, I was already purchasing Stella Dot. I was already a big ambassador, if you will, for Stella Dot. I had a couple other friends who were stylists, and then I got a call from a really dear friend who happens to be my upline, and she's also an associate director, Greta Peoples. And Greta did what we all should be doing, and she made the ask. And she called me up, and she said, you know, I think I'm going to do the Stella Dot thing. I believe you already are, a big Stella Dot wearer, if you will. And she was just bouncing some ideas off of me, and my husband overheard me talking to her late into the night, and this is true. And he said, you need to become a Stella Dot stylist because y'all have been on the phone chatting up late at night, talking about how do we host a trunk show? Well, what do we do? Or how can we, launch this business? He said, you need to join her team. And so, it's interesting when people talk about family members being supportive or not. I will say that my upline dear friend Greta made the ask, and my husband made the push. And
I love that. Yeah, it's great. You probably wouldn't have you would have just been a great loyal customer if someone had said to you,
I would
hey,
have been her top customer.
Right.
I love the product. And so, and so I will say that I've evolved, as a stylist. Initially it was sort of a favor to a friend, and then it became I quickly recognized that it could be fun money for me, an extra financial resource.
Mm-hmm.
I could, without guilt, purchase, an expensive Louis Vuitton bag and have it monogrammed in Vegas, and
Hypothetically.
This was before we sold totes. This was before.
It sounds like exactly something maybe I could afford to purchase a Louis Vuitton bag at the Louis Vuitton in Vegas and have it monogrammed when I was there. Like, in theory,
that's hypothetically.
Yeah.
I will say it was BT. It was before totes. It was before we sold totes.
You're allowed. That's amazing.
So that was it, and then I realized that I was just having a lot of fun with it, and that I could expand my community and really make a lot of friends happy. I'm a big social media person, and I was touching people that I hadn't seen in years from college. I'm tilting that I hadn't seen in years from college, and just connecting. Yeah. It was sort of an organic way to connect, and I love fashion and color and fun items, and my mom is a big fashion person and loves style, so it just sort of
basically you just like making the world a prettier, more fun, energetic place, and so it worked out, and you got to make money instead of spend money on the bag. You got to spend the money strategically. I like it.
Exactly.
All right, well then because you still so through the entire 8 years that you've been a stylist, you have worked this full-time, very full-time job in that area, which is a very busy, where you live is a really busy, like, professional area. So how have you balanced doing Stella Dot on the side and then all that other stuff, including a full-time job?
Great question. One, I'm organized. I think that helps. That definitely helps for me to be organized. But I actually don't look at them as being exclusive of each other. And that's getting back to that word connector. I don't want to beat it to death, but I wear my pieces, the collection of items that I love. They work for work. They work for play. I always sort of have Stella Dot with me I do have some customers that I have met through my client base, my 9-to-5 client
I
base.
bet.
I've made some connections there, and it's sort of fun for me. I don't take on more than I can take on. I know that I have to sort of do my job, if you will, and this part of it, I just find a way to fit it in. And if that means that I'm not able to do a lot of in-home trunk shows for me, then I'm going to find another way to do it.
And what's the other way for you? What works best for you? Do you do a lot of online sales sessions? Do you do on the go? You sell one-on-one? How do you work your business?
I do a lot of on the go.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have, but I would say it's a pretty well-oiled machine. I really have utilized the community of Facebook and Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and I really personalize my experience for clients and customers to be. I remember what everyone likes. I'm always checking my wish list, and just for instance, I've checked it a couple of times this month. We've got a great sale going on right now, Memorial Day sale this week, and I went in and sort of said, I think I remember that my girlfriend Quelly loves clutches, and we've got some clutches on sale. So it helps me. I have 2 phones, so it helps me to do things, to your point, on the go. And if that means I'm utilizing Mimi, or I'm grabbing some really great photos that other stylists have shared. Did we talk about this community? This community is great.
No, tell me about that. Tell me about that too. Weave it in.
And so I post, and I have a VIP page that is sort of specialized, specifically for Stella and Dot. And I don't know, I hustle.
No, I love that. So you're essentially, for someone who's listening, by the way, if you are watching this, let me remind you, we're giving away a $250 shopping spree. I haven't said it in a while. I need to remind everybody.
Don't miss out, ladies.
Because they're going to be looking at those earrings, by the way, which you need to tell us about in a second, because they're going to be like, how do I get those? So you can't get those.
Great.
They're great. Adrienne will share with you how she got those in a second, but you can get a lot of other great things. And you can do that by tagging SD Joy and 2 friends in a post below this, and we will do a drawing after this session. So if you're looking for those earrings, you can't get those because those are kind of a special stylist only thing. Do you want to explain how you earned those, Adrienne?
Yeah, great. What I love also about Stella and Dot are the perks that we get, and that obviously we get first dibs on our beautiful collections and launches of really special pieces, but we also have some limited edition really unique items, and these particular earrings, which are flamingos, and they have this ombre pink, and there's leather on the back and some sparkle. I just think they're so fun and whimsical. Were part of our glam getaway incentive for stylists this season, and there are different levels, as you sell, as you promote, as you sponsor new stylists. And I believe these were level 1 or level 2. I honestly can't remember.
I can't remember either. I think they might have been level 2. I think was there also a scarf? Did you get the
Yes,
Perio?
so I did.
I
got the Perio. I through the incentive push, Perio, and I believe a kimono as well. So, but these are fabulous. And a quick story is, I actually collected flamingos when I was in the 8th grade, and my whole room. I upgraded when I got in high school, but in the 8th grade, I had this thing for flamingos. I was in South Carolina, and my whole room was decorated with flamingos. So when I saw these, I don't think I have worn a flamingo since, but when I saw these, I thought, these are like adult flamingos. They're
it
perfect.
took you back. You're like, you took you back to your youth. I have to ask, what did you upgrade to?
I had stuff all over my walls. I collected. My mom and I were big yard sale people. My daddy, it was the bane of his existence. But anything that had a flamingo on it that I could attack on my wall. I actually had one of those yard flamingos in my room as my doorstop.
So it was just like a whole flock in there.
Yeah.
Was this the
That
flop
lasted
situation?
1 year. I think a friend may have come over for a sleepover and kind of laughed at me, and then I realized, like, oh my goodness, this is an obsession.
Was like, these flamingo things getting out of hand, and then you like had to upgrade. Yeah, I got it. I love it. All right, before we move on to, because I do want you to talk more about sort of the rewards and the community and the things that you like about being a stylist in addition to the cash. But I just wanted to reiterate, I love how you are selling, because what's so fun about the way you're doing it is because you are busy, because you're on the go. I love your point about it being integrated, right? It's just, you're just always doing all the things. As kids these days say, all the things for all the people. I like it. And
I'm doing too much.
doing all those things. That's right. But you're using your social media, both Instagram and Facebook, and you're posting, and I'm sure you're being quite strategic, tagging people, and then you're doing reach out. I love how you mentioned like your friend that you knew would love clutches, and so you reached out to share that with her. And then your VIP group, someone watching this might be like, what's that? So your VIP group is essentially a Facebook group that every time someone's a customer or a hostess with you, I assume you add them to it.
I add them to the page. I add them to my group, and I can make it more conversational. My job actually doesn't necessarily restrict me from my personality, but we do have to be cognizant of that in the social media space. So I can be more conversational too in this Facebook group. I don't have to put on any airs. I can post a really wonky photo of myself. I can, do some boomerangs that are really fun. And it really is a community space. All of my top customers, any customer really, to your point, any hostesses that I've had, anyone that has hit like on a post and maybe hasn't even purchased, but we're friends, I add them to that page, and they may not even know it until they know it. And something that they see me post, they're like, whoa, okay, that
how did I get into this secret society?
Right. Yeah. That resonates with me. I never knew that I needed earrings that looked like lemons. Oh my goodness.
Who doesn't? Really, who doesn't?
Right, who doesn't? I hesitated to share with you as well. I travel a lot. And I travel not so much for work anymore, but I travel personally. So to your point of on the go, I always have my Stella Dot, travel bag with me, or jewelry and accessories case with me, chock full, because inevitably we're going, if it's my husband and I traveling or my family and I traveling, we're going to see someone or I'm having a girls' weekend and I'm outfitting all of my girls, so all week they barely travel with jewelry unless it's their Stella Dot or unless it's their really special piece. And they, if we're getting a sweet hotel or something, they walk into the room and they say, give us some jewelry, girl.
How do I get to be in that group? That's really fun.
And so we're walking they're all walking salespeople for me all weekend long.
You've got your network. Listen, I'm going to screenshot this right now. Smile. Here, I'll send it to you. You can put it in your VIP group. Okay.
Absolutely. I love it.
That'll be fun. All right. Tell us then. I mean, first of all, I can just tell you have such a zest for life. I get why people are just like, yes, Adrienne, I love your earrings. And then you're like, you want some? And, you're able to like sell on the go and add them to the group. And I love that I agree that your personality should not be squashed ever. But I love that it can come out of that group. So tell me then, you mentioned the cash. It gives you that extra money on the side. I don't know if there's anything other than the Louis Vuitton that you've been able to do that you want to talk about. And then what else has it afforded you? Like, what are the other kind of perks?
Well, couple recent things, and it was all sort of tied to a goal. So I mentioned that my daughter rushed sorority recently, and so we are now members of the same sorority. So she's a legacy, if you will, but it's a process. So it wasn't a given, and I actually saved up her membership fees, which were not inconsequential.
I'm sure.
But I sort of tied them to a goal without her knowing, and it was something that I kind of prayed over. So that may sound a little weird to the audience, but it was something that I could say, this I'm setting aside for Marley's membership into this organization, And God willing, she makes it. And if she doesn't, we're going on a good trip. And so,
and you were torn. You're
right.
like, I'm not
So
sure
I
which
sort
one
of
I
I
want.
stacked up some commissions, you know, a nice bit, didn't touch them. And it was Marley's college sorority fund. So that may sound a little weird to the audience, but it was a recent, and it was such a joy when she was accepted, and she called and she said, I need this number with these 3 zeros behind it.
You were like, I got it. I
I
got
got
it.
you, girl.
I
I
don't
don't
think
even have
I
to
don't
bat an
think
eye.
I don't
And
think being a mom who's supporting her daughter is going to sound weird to the audience at all. It might. Everybody's got
absolutely,
their way of doing it, so there's nothing weird about that. I mean, isn't that everything, really?
absolutely. And my husband and I, we travel to Europe every year. We go to Amsterdam and Rotterdam, and then we may visit some other countries. And I always pay for our Airbnb while we're there. So
Nice,
that
nice.
that
Is your husband
that's
is your husband Dutch, or why do you go there all the time? Or
it,
German?
no, but we go for a
Just like
jazz
it.
festival. We
Oh,
go
I
for
knew there had. Oh, the many layers of Adrienne
Yeah,
Keebler. Oh
there's a big music festival. It's called a jazz festival, but I'm just gonna call it a music festival. It's a 3-day music festival in Rotterdam called the North Sea Jazz Festival. You should join us. It's a good time. Greta goes now. I've got Greta going. We have a good
how
time.
do I not know about this? You've got to give me off camera later. Give me
We'll
all the
talk
details.
offline.
Yes, we will.
It's a good
I just
time.
said I want to be part of your posse where I get to pick all the jewelry on the table. So I like that. All right. And then one last thing before I have a final question for you. But before that, I know you also mentioned the community. And so, you obviously knew Greta, who introduced you
Mhm.
to the business. Shout out to Greta Peoples, amazing leader. But you have made all kinds of other Stella and Dot friends since then.
Yes.
So how does the community play in if someone's thinking, well, that sounds great, but I don't know these people?
Well, we're pacing partners, and that may be a term that's not familiar to those who are listening, but we support each other. I mean, I'm not going to always have the best month, and I say that in air quotes because I actually think any month in Stella Dot is good, but but we support one another. We uplift, and I really don't use that word lightly. We keep each other on task. Sometimes I am in the weeds with my 9 to 5, and I may not be on top of things as it relates to the latest news or the Tuesday buzz. And Greta can just tap me on my shoulder, or my girlfriend Shalanda, who lives in Chicago, who's an amazing senior stylist. She might tap me on my shoulder. I'm inspired by their styling. I can be a little more casual sometimes. I have funky, unique, sort of edgy style, but some of my girlfriends are a little more cosmopolitan on occasion, and they inspire me. We we stay paced with one another just to make sure that we are receiving the perks, that we are taking advantage of the incentives, that we are at the table. We have a seat at the table when certain conversations are taking place. That's very important to us. We are a diverse group, and we're proud of that. And I don't know. It runs the gamut. I mentioned earlier about photos, and anybody that knows Stella and Dot knows that our pieces are beautiful. You may see something online, but you may not really have a sense of how it's going to look on you. And our stylist community that reaches from Iowa to Wisconsin to California to Texas, we share our photos. People may not know that's sort of happening behind the scenes, but if I take a great photo with these earrings and someone else doesn't own them per se, or doesn't have them in their collection, I'm happy to share a photo of
Right.
myself with them. And so the community is just it's pretty A.
It is is definitely pretty A. You're too cool for me. I've never said that before. I'm going to steal it. Okay, last question I have for you on this beautiful day. If someone is watching this and they're thinking about entering into the idea of the stylist gig. And they were thinking, well, I could maybe use a side gig, or I could use some more friends, or I could use some income, or I would like those earrings and other perks like it, or whatever. What would your two-part question, what would you say to them? And then I think often people think, well, it sounds fun, but maybe it's not for me, or maybe the timing's not right. What would you say to them?
I tell them not to overthink their decision. You can always find a reason to say no. Oh, to your point, the timing's not right, or I can't afford it. Don't overthink it. Our community is strong. There's always a resource for you. There's the senior leadership is accessible. That's why we're talking today. We once you sign up, don't worry about perfection. No stylist is perfect, and don't imagine that that's sort of what's happening. No stylist does it alone. I know that sounds like that's a song. No stylist does it alone.
It should be a song.
I would tell them to have fun, really to embrace the fun in it, and to imagine, to set a goal, and then be open to that goal evolving. Set a simple goal. Just say, I want to step out of my comfort zone. Say, I want to be a salesperson and I've never been a salesperson. And actually, I shouldn't have probably used that term because I don't really think of myself as a salesperson. But don't worry about other people's goals. Don't get yourself caught up in what other stylists have set as their goals. Have fun, and always remember to give personal touches and service to your customers. Thank you notes are key. A thank you is key. I really appreciated you. A posting of a heart on their Facebook page goes a long way. Just have fun. Don't overthink. Yeah. Remember, you're not alone. And when I say overthink, and I'm going to wrap it up here, also remember there are resources for you. And so you really are not alone. I cannot impress that enough. So
Adrienne Keebler. First of all, we need to go to that jazz festival and write the song. You should all be, you're not alone, stylist, you're not alone. There's the riff.
Right.
You're never alone. My brain's going on that now. We can definitely, that's a top hit. But also, it is so clear that you are so passionate about what you do. And I think that's why you're successful. The fun comes through, just the joy comes through. You love it. You get to talk. This is not brain surgery. It's fun. No, it's a side gig. It adds another layer to your life of girlfriends and style. And I love your point about you being inspired by other people's style. Because I think sometimes people think, well, I'm not the most stylish person, but you don't have to be. You learn different looks. And it is that diversity in all ways that I think makes our community so strong, whether it's style diversity, geographic diversity, all the ways, it's all of that makes it everything. And I'm very grateful for you. Thank you for taking time to chat with us. But mostly thank you for just being so fun. You are fun.
Can we give one quick shout out to our Dress for Success?
I love art. So that, Greta, I just called you Greta. Adrienne is wearing our Listen Up Ladies t-shirt. I love it. We have a couple others. I should grab them. And yes, these benefit our partnership with Dress for Success. We're super excited about that. And when you join as a stylist, not only do you have 2 kits you can choose from, I'm going to highly recommend the $199, which gets you $1,000 in bestsellers. A $50 donation is also made to Dress for Success in products. So what I love about that is, as you are starting as a new stylist and empowering yourself and your family and your circle of influence, a woman you don't even know is getting empowered in another way to go out and impact her family and her circle of influence and her community. And by all of us doing all those things, we really do make change. And so we're very proud of that partnership. Thank you for reminding me, Adrienne. So listen up, ladies. You're in good hands. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
You're the best. And don't forget to hashtag below SDJoy, tag 2 friends. We'll do the shopping spree drawing at the end of this. And we hope you'll join us. You can join by just going to StellaDot.com, signing up there, and we'll help you get started. Have a great day.
Same to you. Thank you.